Welcome to episode 2 of season 4 of the F124 driver career. We had a remarkably good race in Bahrain last time out in our Mercedes debut. Went very well indeed. We've spent all but 5 of our resource points, so I could very much do with earning some more. But all of the practice is futile in terms of figuring out how quick we're going to be, because even though we're in Saudi Arabia, it is fully wet all race. Yup. It is a 100% wet Grand Prix at Jeddah in Saudi Arabia. Never did I think I would see the day. So the dry running in practice and quali will give us one idea of how fast we can be and one idea of what setup we should use. But then that all goes to pot for the race. So we'll wait and see, shall we? Obviously, we had, as we say, a great time in the first Grand Prix. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Great comeback from a P9 qualifying to a P3 finish. Spoilers. And if you missed it, worth the watch. Lewis Hamilton is in a Ferrari now. We swapped, effectively. And then Gasly and Ricciardo swapped, with Gasly going back to the sister Red Bull team at VCARB, and Daniel Ricciardo going back to Alpine, that was formerly Renault, where he was previously, where he was teammates with Nico Hülkenberg. So we've all come full circle. Pierre is back as Yuki's teammate, and Daniel is back as Nico Hülkenberg's teammate. So let's just go to Jeddah, try and get as many resource points as possible to continue to close the gap to that now remarkably quick Ferrari car, and hope that our setup translates from the dry to the wet, which it might not do, but we're praying that we'll be competitive in the wet like we were in Zandvoort last season. That is the dream. Drop the video a like, subscribe to the channel, and join me in Jeddah. Maximum resource points earned. It's probably not going to be enough to get us, considering the 100% boost resource points lady wasn't at this circuit. It's not going to be enough to be able to increase anything else on the car. My experience goes up to 86, which is about as much as we can take from those practice sessions, to be honest. Car feels okay, but what it's going to be like in the wet is a complete mystery, especially around a circuit like this, which is so fast and flowing in some areas, but tight and technical in others. So your guess is as good as mine, really. I'm going to put fresh bits in for quali and practice. What I'm going to do, I'll put stuff to the end. So my practice stuff is going to be number 1, and my practice stuff is going to be number 1, and then my end of the line stuff is going to be race session stuff. That way, hopefully, we'll remember to update every time that we're at a race circuit. Okay, qualifying in the dry before racing in the very, very wet. And the quali practice program said I'm going to be last, so that's good.
And we've been pushed down to P20.
Okay, to the line then. We have closed on the Red Bull in front a little bit. Going to need a mid-27. It's a 27.120-ish. It's good enough for 8th. It's not electric. Wasn't a bad lap either, which is slightly concerning, but the fact that we're through Q1 at least is a bonus. Right with our teammate, in fact, and it was a 27.120. Charles is a bit quick. 26.2 to our 27.1. Holy bejesus. Yeah, the 2 Ferrari continually the team to beat. Sainz out in Q1 here. Teo out both Alpines and one of the Saubers. Haas were challenging at the front in Season 2 after we'd set them up brilliantly, and they've done nothing but go backwards since. Such a shame, really, but never mind. Hopefully I can continue to go forwards here in a Mercedes.
We've dropped to P15.
think we're going to need to be in the 26s here to get through. And we are at 26.7. I don't think Lewis went again, and I think Lewis is out. That's P5 for us here. I think Lewis Hamilton is out of qualifying by electing not to do a second run. He is indeed. Your Bahraini race winner is eliminated in 12th place. Ollie Behrman out in the Red Bull, Alex Albon in the Williams, Zhou in the Kick, and now the other Haas has been eliminated with exactly the same time as Lando Norris, a 1:27.076. Both of them set the exact same lap time, but Lando did it first. I'm in 5th, a full second off the pace, mind, but the Ferraris are redonkulous. Ollie. Lewis just didn't go again when he should have, obviously. But you live and you learn, and you'd like to say he won't make that mistake again, but with the AI being the AI, he probably will. Come on then. Felt slow. That was good. There's basically a second on the Delta already. Purple sector 1. Hello. Anna made a mistake. .25.8 by Lando. Charles is not going to get his pole. I'm not going to get my lap time either. 26, or better than a 26.5, would have had me top 5 prior to the second runs. The 26.4 is what Piastri got. It's a 26.450. I think I just snuck into 6th. I did. I think I beat Piastri by about 200ths of a second there. It's not bad. P6 I'll take around here. Certainly. Although the rain is a complete unknown. And yes, it was by 19 milliseconds. By effectively 200ths of a second faster than Piastri. And by 18 milliseconds slower than Lance Stroll, so we could have had a P5 and been in the top 5 here. Lando did pip Charles. George is not far behind at all. Fernando equally so behind George. It's quite close for that top 4. Then it's very close for the next 3. Then Max and the 2 RBs are a little way off, but I don't know as Max really maximised his potential there. Okay, a P6 start in the wet at Jeddah certainly gives us something to fight for.
Grid for today's race.
Now, Charles did get a retirement in the last Grand Prix, of course. His engine decided to go bang, or something in the car decided to fail. But this early in the season, he will have another option of an alternate part that isn't outside of the allotted allocation for the season, or the allowed allocation for the season. So, no grid penalty for Charles Leclerc. Lewis Hamilton, if you'd have said that he was starting 12th, you'd have said, oh, is he taking a grid penalty? No, he just wasn't on it in Q2. Teo Pourchaire, Nico Hülkenberg, Daniel Ricciardo and Esteban Ocon line up the back. And Daniel Ricciardo has taken a grid penalty. Not sure what for. His car did retire as well in the last round, but he shouldn't have needed to take something different. It reckons.
Don't let me down.
Reckons it reckons a 1 stop is quicker than the no stop, but it reckons it could be a no stop race. You could go all the way on just the 1 set of inters. I would lean heavily towards putting a fresh set on, and that's probably what we'll do. Starting P6. It's an absolute unknown. I have never driven this circuit in the wet at all. So anywhere forwards from P6, I think, counts as a win for me. Here comes the chaos. Starting behind both Aston Martins. As ever, there will be someone behind that has a rocket start. I don't know why that appears to be a thing this year, but it definitely is a thing this year, isn't it?
Superb parking there,
Someone
mate.
behind
Let's
you just
make
goes,
sure we get the edge on the surrounding
regardless
drivers
of
as the lights go
what
out.
tyres they're on or what car they're in.
Okay, so that's the rest of the grid forming up now.
But starting in 6th, if we're inside the top 10 at the end of the race, we've had a good one. I was going to say, please don't turn into me, Fernando. He kind of did, but he might not have expected me to be there. All right, we've taken Lance early doors. It's a good start. They were actually, of course, the one time I actually acknowledge it, mention it, there wasn't a rocket starter. The back end on Fernando's car is just stepping out all over the place, but at the same time, he's accelerating really hard. So, I don't know how competitive we're going to be here. Gonna have to use a lot of battery a lot of the time, I think. Hopefully we will recharge quite a bit of it with the slower nature of the driving.
Okay, the start was fine. Let's try and move forward.
We've got to keep the tyres in the temperature window. And as less worn, as little wear on them as possible. I just set the fastest lap of the race. I did just use a lot of my battery to do so, though. So let's not get too carried away with the fact that we've just done that. They are fighting in front, though. Lando and Charles are having a good old battle, and Fernando and George are right with each other too. I think that's the only reason. Yeah, I know. I think that's the only reason why we're still even remotely close, is that they're fighting. But if they're just going to continue to fight, then I'll try and take advantage of it. Still able to somehow stay in touch at this moment in time. Oh, although I've gone deep there. I'm in trouble here. No, we're okay. Definitely going to be in trouble into turn 1 though. Here comes a certain Mr. Stroll. Goodbye, Lance. I can't do anything against that. Just slow in a straight line.
Okay, some information on Piastri. They've got some kind of mechanical problem.
Okay, well that's good. Piastri will be slower behind then. Take a slight knock of the rear right, on the wall. Exit at that last corner, so we've got some higher wear on the rear right now, which we'll have to manage throughout the rest of this stint. But you can just see how Lance just pulls away in the traction zones. That is unmanageable, unmatchable. And I'm running really low downforce as well. Can't do anything about that. As soon as someone gets past me, I'm never going to get past them again. It's just the nature of it, unfortunately, with how strong the AI are in a straight line. Piastri's still in front of Verstappen behind. Even though he's slow, Verstappen is struggling to get past him, which is earning us a bit of a reprieve behind. I don't have to worry about what's behind me. Just need to concentrate on what's in front. People are setting fastest laps all the time. If there is a safety car, at some point I just set the fastest lap. I wonder whether it might dry up right at the end. I doubt it. I think it's probably going to be raining all day here, but yellow flag behind. Someone's retiring. Not sure who. We'll find out in a moment.
Okay, clear.
Okay. No one's retiring. No one's retiring? There's still a yellow flag back there. Someone's retiring, I'm sure of it.
Some information on Porsche. They're retiring from the race.
VSC, okay, hello.
Slow down and...
Rear tyres overheating. Great. And with minimal areas to cool them, basically no area to cool them, that is overheating rear tyres for the rest of time. Really, because running offline isn't going to cool them down. Ladies and gentlemen, we are knackered. Lap 7 of 50. Rear tyres are overheating. And that's game over, probably. Unless everyone else is struggling with the same thing. In which case, fine, but it's it's normally only a user issue, isn't it? So one presumes that it's a me issue and not a them issue. In fact, can I see my tyre temps on my dashboard? Yes. So 65? Okay, good. So everyone else's tyre temps are exactly the same, 65 degrees all around. So no tyre temp issues for them whatsoever. Their tyres are in the perfect window. Everybody's tyres are exactly the same. That's realistic and fair, isn't it? Whereas mine are in the high 80s to mid 90s. GG! Thanks, mate. Cool. Do the pros have similar issues in the wet as well, lads? 108 degrees, that rear right. It's now red hot and it's going to explode at any moment. On lap 13 of 50. So either I do like 5 pit stops and end up on a set of wets at the end because I haven't got enough inters, or I just put it in a wall and we all go home now. I mean, I'm still sick, so I'm still getting points for the time being.
For tyre wear, as you well know, so please try and keep them in the green. Some information on Perez.
Screw you, Mark.
Seems to have an issue.
Literally every tyre is overheating.
Okay, here's the gap that we're trailing the car ahead by. 3.8 seconds.
Lewis has arrived in his Ferrari. Lewis will be past me in his Ferrari around about now. No point even fighting it. I could try and 3-stop.
Car in front is a second a lap faster. 1 second.
Like, they're so slow in the corners and then so rocket quick in the straight. Even when my tyres weren't overheating. I can make it to lap 17, I can 3-stop. But I'm just going to do nothing but bleed time and positions the whole time anyway, aren't I? I mean, if I box, I'll come out seconds to last and then just have the same issue and not be able to catch anyone. I'm running such low downforce as well. Like, my rear wing is set to about 11. 109 degrees rear right. Max Verstappen
Try to stay
through.
with them. They might make a mistake and we could still regain the position.
Lol. I'm sorely tempted to just whack a set of mediums on and see if they work. Or hards even. Hards will definitely go the distance. I'm literally just going to go backwards. So, do I box for a set of hards, chat, and see what happens? Seems like a no-brainer at the minute, because this is just boring. Hards or mediums? Hards or mediums? It will be worse on dry tyres.
Okay, don't
I'll
worry
press the
about
wrong
that
button.
target for now. Let's just focus on this pit stop.
Terrible stopping coming. Good, 6 seconds, lovely. Well, either this works, spoilers, it won't, or we put it in a wall and give up.
Okay, there seems to have been a problem removing the left
Oh,
rear
was
wheel.
there?
We need
Was
to
there?
try and put that behind.
Well, we made it 17 laps into the Grand Prix. Before we just gave up.
Cars are coming in for inters. It's touch and go, but could be worth a risk. We'll be ready for it if you want a box.
Nah, I'm good.
Are you alright? Engine off, engine off.
We could just skip straight to Australia. Chat, do we just go straight to Australia? Oh, do I flash back and carry on? Nah. Retire from session. Chat, we are going to go to Australia. YouTube, you're going to get 2 races in one here. Although, I'll message Chris and tell him really not to put anything in of the Grand Prix at all. You can have qualifying for the Saudi Grand Prix. Charles wins. Shock horror. And George on the podium, maybe? We'll find out in due course.
Well, what an
no,
end to another
Charles
fantastic
Lando
weekend
Lewis.
of racing. Thanks to
George.
everyone who joined us, and we'll
George
see you for
retired
the
as
next
well.
one.
George retired as well. Oh dear. Oh dear. When did George retire? Don't know. Doesn't say because it doesn't register anything after I went. Okay, good. Well, we thought wet weather in the desert was going to be rubbish. Turns out it's even worse than we could possibly have imagined. You will get Australia today too. Bumper episode, although it's going to ruin my rating too, isn't it? Oh, I'm sad. Okay, Australia, here we go. So the car should be pretty competitive here. Right, go to my tyre allocation and send it back to balance. It really should default back to balanced in between each race, really, rather than just leave you on the previous one. So we are still right there in second as we approach the next Grand Prix. Drop to 7th in the drivers. Please just be dry in Australia. Just give me a dry Aussie Grand Prix. Please just give me a dry Aussie Grand Prix. Oh, yes! Yes, 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 yes! We are dry! Okay, Aussie Grand Prix weekend coming up. Here we go. We've been here before, haven't we? Coming out of a practice session, getting resource points. This time I get 600, not just the 300, because the resource point lady is at the track this time around. So now we definitely can improve the car towards the next Grand Prix. The car is improved anyway. Actually, Aston Martin have stepped up their car a bit better than anyone else on the way into this Grand Prix week or round of the Grand Prix. So you can see that Aston Martin have just gone a bit higher than anyone else. Ferrari obviously is still plateaued because there's nowhere they can go with their car really at the moment. So we're getting ever closer to them, and hopefully in time we will get right up with them. Drag reduction I could do. I can't do anything more on front downforce. I could do rear downforce by doing the halo. Do we do drag reduction just to help with straight line speed? I might do that, to be honest. That is a minor upgrade, minor drag upgrade. That is a minor rear downforce. I'm going to do the drag reduction, I think. Do the drag reduction. It's not going to be ready before Japan, unfortunately, but it will be ready for China, which will help down the Iglong straight away. Can't quite afford anything else at this stage. Can't do anything on powertrain or durability, but that's fine. We will very soon, within the next 4 or 5 rounds, be as fast as Ferrari, I think. I really don't think it's going to be that long before we're right up with them. So, as long as George keeps improving the car as well, which I'm sure he will do, we'll be in a great spot in a few rounds' time to close any gaps that have opened up in the drivers or constructors. Right, to qualifying we go in Australia then, and I have now, with the discussion with live chat, changed my simulation settings so that the tyre temperatures is set to surface only, so that I basically have the same tyre temperature as the AI. Like when they weren't using the ERS in quali, I didn't, to make it fair. So in theory, I should do it the other way round, shouldn't I? If they're getting an unfair advantage by having their tyre temperatures locked, then I want that too. It sucks, it's not realistic, but they never have tyre temp issues, so why should I suffer with tyre temp issues for the sake of suffering? I shouldn't, right? Qualifying in Australia on the way. In before I still get tyre temp issues. They were in the low 14s or mid 14s. As am I, apparently. A 14.5. Oh, hiya. P2. Unfortunately, it's only Q1, not Q3, but P2. might not make it through here, you know. That might be me out in like P11. It is indeed me out in P11. Around Albert Park, not quite got that little bit extra. It's our worst qualifying performance in a Mercedes for sure. And, well, I was 1/100th of a second behind Pierre Gasly. I said I'd probably need to be into the 14s to get through. And I was. I just wasn't quite far enough into the 14s. A 1:14.982 for me. A 1:14.972 for Pierre Gasly. Piastri was a 8.63 and then into the 8.23, 8.22 with literally 1 millisecond between Carlos Sainz and Lance Stroll. Lando mixing it amongst the Ferraris. Fernando going fastest, but obviously a handful didn't go out for a second lap. Verstappen is also out, as is Sergio Perez, and both the Saubers. P11's not great, but it is a track that you can overtake on, so we shall have to do some overtaking, won't we? It is Charles Leclerc, Lewis Hamilton, Fernando Alonso, George Russell, P4. Mediums and hards in front, other than Yuki on the soft. Hards solely behind, other than Daniel Ricciardo on the medium.
Okay, here we go. I know what you can do. Don't let me down.
Tyre wear apparently is quite high for me. Medium, medium, hard is the expectation. Could we... Ooh, no. 3-stop is not the one. Could I 1-stop? I mean, I could 1-stop. It's not going to be any quicker. But a 1-stop is possible, apparently. Personalised is a little bit slower, but I could 1-stop. I'll medium, hard, medium, I think, so that we're on the quicker tyre at the end. We'll see how far the mediums go. 18, 19, 21 currently. Let me change that to soft, so I can change that to medium, so I can change that to hard. If I do 18, 22, 18, that supposedly is the fastest way that I can get to the end, probably with me being quick at the end. Fuel, I've absolutely no idea. We ran it very, very close in Bahrain, indeed, so I don't want to take too much out, but I will take some. We'll go 95.5 kilos worth of extra liquid in the car. It's just over 7 laps worth of extra fuel. Hopefully, from P9 to the podium in Bahrain, so P11 to at least P5 here in Australia. That's the plan, right? Max had a poor qualifying. He starts in 12th behind me. Well, I expected Tsunoda to be faster off the line on those softs, and he wasn't. Someone slow in front. It's Lando Norris. He's dropping like a stone. He's really fallen off there. That's poor from Lando. Yuki got caught on the apex there. Try and use a bit of ERS to get clear of Yuki. I don't want to tweak him though. I don't want to catch him. He's going to fly up the inside. I don't want to just cut across Yuki and end up having us both fly into the wall a la Sainz and Perez at Azerbaijan this year in real life. Or last year actually in real life as it happens by now. So we started 11th. We stay 11th. Lando's had a terrible start however. We'll see what we can do from here. Hoping to be faster than those on the hard tyres whilst we're on the medium. And then we'll try and get dragged along when we're on our hard tyres by those on the medium. To then be on the medium tyre at the end of the race. Just fingers crossed. Have some decent pace. Tsunoda and Gasly are good. Two cars we're going to have to really try and see off as early as possible though if we're to make some inroads into the top 8 and hopefully the top 5 as planned. We will undercut off the medium a little bit. I think probably pit lap 16 or 17 rather than the current 18 scheduled. But we'll see how tyre wear goes. We might end up having to
use DRS when you're within 1 second of the car ahead.
Might end up having to pit even earlier if the medium tyre doesn't last.
Take button a bit more.
Yeah, using the yellow flags in front. Oh, is that Lando retiring? It is. Lando went slowly at the start, and maybe that was instigated by something that was failing on the inside of his car because his engine has now exploded and Lando Norris is out the race. We're into the top 10, and we didn't even need to make an overtake. We're going to look to make an overtake here, though. Excuse me. Thank you. That is P9 ahead of Pierre Gasly. Yuki made it past him on his soft tyres. I've made it past him on my mediums. Now, if Gasly could hold everybody up behind him, that is also on the hard tyre, that would be even better. Come on, Yuki. Let's go get that front 7 now then, shall we? Oh, good run on Yuki here. He didn't go defensive, but we've gone super aggressive. Actually left the track to keep the position there, which is slightly naughty, but it's not like I haven't done similar things myself over the years, so we'll let him off. Try and get him into turn 1 instead with full battery and a sizable amount of ERS as well, and we'll get DRS down to turn 3 too. Oh, he moved late, but we get the move done. It's not the only one to have moved late. We saw someone in Bahrain move very late into a braking zone. He might well have been Oscar Piastri, I think, if memory serves. And now we're in Piastri's backyard. That McLaren is currently running... I shouldn't have looked at the minimap. That McLaren is currently running in P5, I think, with Stroll and Sainz in 6 and 7. Gaps in front are about 3 seconds because I got stuck behind the RB. They're also getting dragged along by the Ferrari here, though, which is annoying. I don't know if I'm going to be able to catch them. We might have to rely on a couple of undercuts to be able to close in on the group in front now. Although most of them are on the hard tyre, so hopefully our medium will have some pace in these early stages to try and close that gap a bit. Give it a go anyway. Wasn't too much difference between the 1-stop and the 2-stop. Very much might be worth a go. Wonder if Carlos Sainz on his mediums. Wonder if everyone else is going to 1-stop. Apart from obviously Yuki on the softs.
They're on fresh mediums. Okay, they've got 4 laps.
Yeah,
on
1 or 2.
tyres. We think they've got 1 more stop.
Yeah.
And the
okay.
time last lap, 1:18.7. All right, you're
so
falling back by 1/10 a lap.
A few 1-stoppers around, but we're going for the 2. At least initially, we're planning on going for the 2. There ended up being more 2-stoppers in Bahrain than we thought there were. We'll see what the situation is here as well. Presume Gasly on his hards is 1-stopping. I'm imagining every hard runner is 1-stopping.
Okay, we think they've got 2 stops remaining. 2 stops
no,
remaining.
Turns out I know absolutely nothing. Some are 1-stopping, some are 2-stopping. So I will 2 because we feel like it's the fastest way for me to make it to the end. Big lock up in front, lots of tyre smoke. And there's a little bit of battling going on behind the Ferrari at the minute. The 2 Scarlet cars are still 1 and 2. They have been dragging everyone else along with them, which is why the train is still together. Obviously, there's 4 DRS zones here in Australia, so if you're not part of a train, you do get dropped if you don't have the pace. At the minute, we just have the pace to keep them... Oh, concentrate, Ches. We just had the pace to keep them about 3 seconds down the road. Then I made that mistake talking to you guys, and I've lost a full second there. So that's not gone well. Now I've got to try and earn that back again.
Okay, mate, our fuel usage rate is higher than we need it to be, so
oh, that's not great news either, considering I took a little bit of fuel out at the beginning of the race. Hopefully we don't have any fuel issues here in Australia. Otherwise I really will be annoyed. 3.6 seconds is still close enough to make some sort of undercut work, especially if we're boxing twice. But I could really have done without making that mistake at the beginning of this lap and opening that gap up by a full second. That's not gone well at all. Now 3 have fallen off at the front here. An Aston, a McLaren and a Haas. And if they start squabbling, then that will bring the top 5 towards us. There's 5th, 6th and 7th that are part of that trio. The front 4 are still getting tugged along by the Ferrari. So we're disappearing slightly further down the road. I'm trying my best to hang on in here. Not having any DRS is a bit of a killer. Tyres are starting to get quite worn on the rear left now. So So we'll probably end up boxing lap 16 rather than 18 for a set of hard tyres and try and undercut as best we can. We're having a little bit of a squabble up front. Piastri and Stroll are getting tasty with one another, which has brought us about half a second closer. If they can keep doing that, I'll be very happy, especially as we're about to box next lap. Put some fresh hard tyres on. I might do one more lap if they fight again. They haven't really.
Grip levels are going to start falling away soon.
Yeah, I'm going to box this lap.
Hitting this lap then. Come into the pits at the end of this lap.
Boxing for hards. For the first of 2 stops.
Okay, let's
A good
go
stop.
now.
Thank you, Mercedes team.
Perfect job on the turn.
Should come out between Yuki and the back of this train.
All right, we'll be doing one more
Which is
stop
exactly
today.
what we've done.
One stop left in this strategy.
Medium tyres next. We'll probably go on about lap 40-ish. Yes, 40-ish. Okay, game on. Now, can we undercut those that were in that front few that are 2-stopping? The 1-stoppers are going to be really hard to catch, but the 2-stoppers are absolutely catchable and passable. And this group in front,
We've got a lot of spare energy. Okay to use your overtake button.
those that are 2-stopping will be boxing about lap 18, so they'll get out the way. And those hard runners that are going all the way and 1-stopping should be so slow that we're able to just see them off without too much time being lost. Yuki's gone soft medium.
I'm afraid we didn't quite meet our targets there, but don't worry about it. Keep your
Hopefully
head
that's
down
not
and chin up.
an omen for the end of the race, saying that we will run out of fuel come the end of lap 58. I hope not. To save some fuel if we need to. If there's a VSC at any point, we will save a little bit of fuel as well. Not sure if I was quite. I think I am in DRS range there. So we've caught this group now, and I'm hoping some will get out of the way. Don't think there were many behind us in that second half of the grid that were on a tyre compound that wasn't hard though. But if they're 2-stopping on a hard tyre, then they will be pitting soon anyway. Probably 20 or 21. Hoping some get out of the way here, because now's when we're going to start to lose some time. And of course, it's only Daniel Ricciardo that gets out of the way, but at least he was the first one there, so he's gone. He's 17. I've just noticed that one of the Ferrari has boxed and has come out behind Sergio Perez. So they've gone medium. So we go medium, hard. So Hamilton and Alonso are 2-stopping, the same as me. Piastri's also come in. And he's now part of this group in front of me. Piastri, of course, was one of the cars that we were chasing. So we haven't actually been able to undercut that much on the hard tyre. But on the medium, hopefully, we will just have the tyre advantage we need to make the difference. And more free air at the time. Teos should be easy pickings. Go around the outside, perhaps. You're not going to get the chance. God, you broke so early there, mate. Jesus Christ.
George is in the pits. He's in the pits now.
Teo is going to be easier pickings, just not at the exact corner I thought it was going to be at. It's P16. Might have taken a little bit of front wing damage from touching the back of Teo there, but hopefully it's not so much so that we're in any concern of loss of performance. George is in and out. Gap to my teammate pre-pit stops was about 10 seconds. And he's come out in some beautiful free air.
Gap to your teammate ahead.
Good.
0.2 seconds.
0.2.
They're on fresh mediums.
That doesn't help at all, does it? Hopefully at some point that will rectify itself and I'll actually know how far ahead of me he is. Now that front group, that train in front of this little train, we're all getting dragged along by a Ferrari again. I might have been actually better served going a little bit longer and staying out. This is going to get tasty. Excuse me, Nico. Give it up. Thank you. P15. That's Esteban Ocon out of the way as well. Perfectly timed, Esteban. Thank you, mate. Though Ollie Behrman does have DRS here. Cars coming out of the pits. That's Lance Stroll. Up the inside at turn 1. So we've been able to undercut Stroll. So evidently going even longer was the wrong call. Although Stroll was on hards and will now be medium to the end. Whereas we're obviously on hards at the moment and we'll go mediums later. Piastri's also gone medium. And that group that was with a Ferrari is now either all dipped into the pits or just lost the Ferrari. Back into P8. Zhou is yet to stop. Piastri is the one that, or one of the ones that we were chasing. And he was
Okay, gap to the car in front.
about 3.5 seconds down the road when we boxed. So we've closed a little bit. Despite having to fight our way through some traffic, we have closed a little bit. Plan for a top 5 finish from a P11 start is still potentially there for us.
The car behind you just
So,
come in for the
in the
hard
box.
tyres. Car behind,
Chasing
running hard
Piastri,
tyres.
3 seconds the gap. Okay, 9.9 to George. It's obviously sizable, but it's not grown massively since we last checked. It was 9.2 pre-pit stop. It's 9.9 post-pit stop with us having fought through some traffic. He's now tucked up behind the Haas of Carlos Sainz. But it looks like they're going to be able to get past him relatively quickly. The Ferrari of Charles Leclerc and Aston Martin of Fernando Alonso have done exactly that. Although George is still behind after this DRS zone. Is he able to get through into the next braking zone? It seems like that is a yes. Slowly trying to close on Oscar Piastri here. He's coming to us as his medium tyres start to wear. Now hard tyre becomes the better one to be on. The left-hand side tyres are going about 1% a lap-ish. So these hard tyres could, in theory, take me to the end. They'd be slow, but they could, in theory, take me to the end of the race. Did Stroll go hard? Stroll might have gone hard, you know. Let me check. I think Stroll did go hard. He did. A lot of them have gone hard. So they've gone with a harder tyre compound set here in Australia. That is unexpected, to say the least. Currently P6 after starting P11, which we think is probably going to be about our net position. But we want to get into that top 5 at the very least, please. Hamilton is 5.8 down the road and coming back towards us as well slightly. As his medium tyres go off too. Now the DRS we're getting off Piastri and the subsequent overtake that will come will get us even closer to Lewis.
Good pace. You're catching the car in front by about a second a lap. Gap to your teammate ahead, 8.7 seconds.
Okay. That was 9.9 last time we were told about it. And he's not even battling with anyone. But roles will be reversed at some point soon. They'll box, they'll be on hards that will last well, and they'll be on the mediums that will deteriorate. Excuse me, Mr. Piastri. Oh, thank you, Mr. Piastri.
Nice move, good job.
Wasn't that nice a move, but job is done. Yeah, it might be a bit of a pain to pull away from McLaren, because he's going to be rather fast with DRS. Now we'll get it again here. Battling with Oscar is going to cost us time to Lewis, annoyingly. The front two are going hell for leather for the lead. The Ferrari of Charles Leclerc and the Aston of Fernando Alonso. I don't mind swapping with Piastri. I just want to gain time on third and fourth. We can swap as many times as you like, Oscar. Let's just get to the end quickly, shall we? Except I'll just go up the inside. Toodaloo, sir. Alright, let's try and open that gap a bit if we can. So he's now going to have 2 DRS zones to close the gap right back up again into turn 1 and 3, annoyingly. 5.2 to Lewis though, which is good. That gap is closing. Alonso's in, Leclerc is not. Ooh, steady. George is in.
Okay, George is coming in for his stop.
As is Lewis, as is Piastri, okay. So they're boxing end of 37. Our plan was to box 40.
The pit window and you're going to be on mediums.
Probably still the plan, I would imagine. So Leclerc is 1 stopping.
Leclerc ahead. Okay,
Potentially.
keep an eye on that gap ahead, please. 15.9 seconds. Okay, they're on.
If he isn't, Fernando Alonso's got a great undercut.
17 laps old. We think they've got 1 more stop.
Alonso for the win, maybe.
1 minute.
Now, if the tyres last, and I'm even remotely quick enough because of the extra DRS zones, I could try and hang on to the back of Fernando Orlando to finish ahead of Lewis and Piastri and get a top 5, maybe even a top 4. But it would be asking a lot for that to work towards the end of the race. So we're going to have to manage the gap, pay attention to what the gap is to Hamilton and Piastri throughout the course of the stint, and maybe we might be able to sneak a 1 stop. But it is not the ideal strategy, but it could work for us.
Car behind's catching you at a rate of about 2 seconds a lap. Be aware.
2 seconds a lap is pretty ridiculous. I think the fact that they're catching that quickly on the fresh tyres means that it's not an option. It's not an option to try and sit in the DRS. I'll try and sit in it as long as I can and see if we can't get some of the time that we've lost back again. But I have a feeling I'm probably going to end up having to box to avoid just getting dropped by everybody.
Box this lap. Keep an eye on your distance.
It's Charles Leclerc out of the pits behind us. We might just have kept DRS on Fernando there. We have. I'm not part of this fight, but I need to maintain as much of a gap to Lewis as I can.
The car behind's just boxed for mediums. Car behind on the medium tyre now.
To hopefully stand a chance. I'll let Charles go. My hope is that Charles and Alonso fight one another so that I can hang on in their DRS, and it might earn us the chance of a podium. But I'm going to have to make sure I utilise my ERS and DRS as best as I possibly can. And that Ferrari on medium tyres is electric and is gone. But if they start to fight, they will come back to me. Fight, please, gentlemen. Fight. Charlie's right with him. This is Leclerc's race to lose now, isn't it? It's not even going to be much of a fight, is it? Charles is through. Charles will disappear down the road. I know I've lost the DRS to Fernando. I might as well just box. I will come out in 7th, which is behind current 7th place Carlos Sainz. I just need to then pump in the lap time with a brand new set of medium tyres. Good stop, please, gentlemen.
Right,
Thank you, gentlemen.
That was a fantastic
Get
stop.
me out, get me
Faster
out,
than
get
we
me
were
out, get me
expecting.
out. That's Lewis. Here comes Piastri.
Look after these tyres now. We want to finish the race on this compound.
I'm going to come out in front of Sainz with P6. Right. Can these medium tyres get us to Piastri for a top 5? 2.5 seconds to gap. Fresh medium tyres versus quite fresh hard tyres. What's faster? Give it up, Oscar.
Okay,
Good lad.
back to the car in front. 4.4 seconds.
Let's go get Lewis. 4.2 seconds to a P4. There he is, just going around the apex of the corner as we came into view. That's what we want. In Bahrain, we chased and chased and chased and got an extra position.
Okay, no issues with tyre wear for now. Keep taking care.
On that occasion, though, we had the fresher tyre, and it stayed the fresher tyre for the entire stint.
Okay, the car behind is
Here-
dropping back. We're seeing a gap starting to form.
I currently have the fresher tyre, but it will not stay the fresher tyre for long. No, I don't have DRS off the back of Piastri. I don't know as I'm going to have the pace to catch Lewis, nor the tyre life. But we will try our damnedest. 12 laps, including the one that we're on, to go. So my tyres are starting to go now. So that DRS swap we've been doing with Oscar is going to be more and more beneficial as the laps go by and we utilise each other's pace to try and catch Lewis. Go on then. No, don't just drive into the back of me, knobhead. Fine. He just straight up drove into the back of me when I was trying to let him past, so... Yuki's out. No late safety car. Or even a VSC. How you going, Sir Lewis? How's that P4, mate? Bring it here, please. This is... in FC terms on this second channel, my new homeland in Australia and New Zealand. New part of the world for me. Trying to make it feel like home. The P11 to P4 drive will make it feel very, very welcoming indeed. Oh, fuel. Fuel.
Okay, this is your final lap. Final lap of the race.
A lock up from Lewis.
You've lost some time to the car behind.
And the back marker's going to have to let us through. Teo, move please before Lewis gets DRS off you. Fuel is in the red. I need to make the move and somehow save some fuel. Thank you, Teo. DRS marker is there. I have to do it now. Absolutely have to do it now. It's done. Now we've got to save some fuel somehow, whilst keeping Lewis behind. Charles wins the Grand Prix. Congratulations, Mr. Leclerc. Oh, God. Am I going to make it to the line? Intact. I'm in low fuel mode. No, 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 no! Piastri gets me too!
Right,
unbelievable.
take care of the car on the way in.
0.06 of a lap's worth of fuel is enough to see me go from 4th to 6th.
Charles Leclerc, what a drive, what a victory. He wins.
I cannot
2 race wins in a row.
believe it.
I think they'll be really happy with that. I mean, 1 race win is
I hadn't paid attention to fuel the entire Grand Prix.
This is a great sign of maybe.
And it's cost me. All I needed was to save fuel for half a lap at some point ever.
And here we are, a team that is no stranger to the podium.
Oh,
taking
mate.
their place on top
I swear
once
that's
again.
happened to us at
It's a
Australia
great
before
race
as
today,
well.
And a stunning win for Ferrari.
It's Charles from Fernando from George. We might see that podium quite a few times this season. Lando retired. It's a P6 for us.
Weekend of Formula 1
8 points is decent. It's not... Oh, it's not what we deserved, though. We deserved that P4. We're still beating Max in the rivalry, but... Oh, I deserved a P4. FML. Oh, I just needed low fuel mode to last that little bit longer. By a matter of a few hundred metres. And the fact that Oscar Piastri pipped me as well is ridiculous. All that effort to chase him down. And it didn't quite work. We're going to get one more upgrade before we get to Japan. I might be tempted to put the harder tyre compound set on for Japan, actually.
And we're going to have them with us for the next Grand Prix.
I think I'm gonna. Do I? I think I'm gonna. We'll put the harder tyre compound set in for Japan. And then... Oh, mate. Can you believe it? I'm absolutely gutted. I don't feel like we deserve that. On the back of a double episode special... Well, one and a bit episodes special. And... son of a motherfucker. Well, wing mirrors are nearly done. I can afford the weight redistribution. Let's do that. That will be done before China as well. 25% discount. The car is getting better yet further still. The standings look like this. Charles and Lewis locked with 52 points apiece at this early stage of the season. Fernando Alonso there with 42, 10 points back. Then 9 points to George, 10 more to me. And then I'm now a single point clear of Lando and Oscar, who both are locked with 22, and Max on 20. It's tight at the moment. And if we can just disrupt those Ferrari enough, the fact that Lewis got a what could well have been a P4 there on merit as well. Charles is just monstrous, but if we can disrupt the Ferrari enough and get Charles to be disrupted too, and so that he doesn't win every bloody week, then we are in with a shout of challenging for a Drivers' Championship, at the very least, re-challenging for another Constructors' Championship. It's probably going to be a one-stop in Japan if it's not raining. Don't rain! Please. Thank you. fully dry in the sessions that matter in Japan. Thank Christ. So then, Japan is a circuit we love to drive. Japan is a circuit I've always struggled at because I've favoured more downforce for Sector 1 and it's not been the way to go. So I'm going to use that experience. I'm going to put slightly less downforce in next time we race here so that we end up being slower in Sector 1 but much quicker in Sectors 2 and 3, and hopefully that'll make our race pace much, much better, because you can tell from our season results here in Japan, we were 13th Season 1, we were 15th Season 2 in the Ferrari, and we were 11th Season 3 in the Ferrari. I must be better. We think we've learnt from our mistakes. We will be better. A podium and a P6. Not bad. Podium and a P4 it probably should have been, and it could have been a decent finish in Saudi Arabia as well. But other drivers will have DNFs throughout the season, so I guess it's only fair that I have one every now and again as well, considering we have mechanical faults turned off and we won't endure a tyre temp issue again for the rest of the season, because we've turned carcass temperatures off because evidently they don't work as they should. Right, that's all for this one. Well, these two. Thank you very much for watching. Sorry, Chris, for that being probably a monster edit. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the double special. Back to 1 Grand Prix apiece next time, I'm afraid. Apologies. But join me for it in Japan. I'll see you then.